1945 to 1975. Japan-Soviet relationships are poisoned by the Soviet occupation of the Kuril Islands. Hence, the two countries have not been able to ratify a formal peace treaty since the end of World War II. 1979 to 1980. The Soviet Union increases troops and naval assets in the Kuril area. Japan retaliates by hardening its stance towards the USSR and increasing its military spending. 1982. Japan allows the deployment of U.S. advanced F-16 bombers on its soil. The USSR answers by transferring SS-20 missiles from Europe. 1983. The Japanese Prime Minister declares his intent to turn Japan into an unsinkable aircraft carrier. The reply from the USSR is immediate. In an era of modern technology, unsinkable aircraft carriers do not exist. November 1984. The joint U.S.-Japanese naval exercise Fleet X-85 in the Sea of Japan gets as close as 500 nautical miles from Vladivostok. The Soviet fleet is put on high alert. December 4th, 1984. Fleet X ends, but Soviet Navy intelligence and the Politburo are convinced that it was just a rehearsal for a real imminent strike. The green light is given for a preemptive strike on Japan and its U.S. naval bases. December 6th, 1984. When the coded message, "Climb Mount Norodnaya," is transmitted to Soviet forces, several airborne and naval infantry divisions are ready to strike Japan. At dawn, the first wave of Soviet paratroopers lands on Japan, while a mechanized thrust strikes from the Kuril Islands.
So, comrade, our amphibious and airborne operation in Japan is a success. Tokyo is about to fall. Now it's up to you to secure our western flank. Your aim is to protect Osaka, which is here in the east, while neutralizing at least 3 enemy airports, but be aware, the Americans will launch a powerful counterattack in your sector. Colonel Borodin, carry on with the briefing. Thank you, General. Our first wave is made up of parachute and marine infantry units supported by aircraft carrier Minsk. They will deploy from the north. Our marines can land in 4 sectors to the north and west. Then we will have to capture the harbors and airports in order to route our heavy reinforcements. So this will be the strategic map, and the airports and the harbors will be labeled. The Kuznetsov naval group will support us from the southeast, and it can transport combat airplanes, offensive helicopters, and marine or helicopter-borne infantry battalions. One last thing, comrade: beware of the enemy pocket around Gobo Airport. It's immediately at the south. The counterattack can threaten Osaka if they are not careful. You have 16 days to achieve your goals, to control at least 3 airports, even 4 or 5 if possible. Do not disappoint us. Yes, sir. So, this is how the campaign looks like for those who are not familiar. We have multiple regions, and every region has connections to other regions. And for example, Iyo can go to Marugame, Nankuku, and that's it. So there's no other regions that can go to. So if I'm here, I can only go to these 2 regions, unless I have an airborne detachment or something. Then it might be possible to skip those. And on every region, we can have battle groups, regiments, detachments, depending on various sizes. So, for example, in Osaka, we have the Guards, 9th Guards Rifles Regiment, and they have different stats. So cohesion, the more cohesion you have, the more points you get during a battle to buy stuff. Initiative is like the movement, the action points that you have. Morale, the higher the morale, the more units you can lose before you are defeated. And units is the number of units that you have. So, furthermore, this is a rifles regiment, so it has some logistics, it has some motostrelki, which are the basic infantry, and they're in BMP2s, which are very, very good. They also have some support equipment, like the Biryas-Yusa, which is a radar-guided anti-aircraft gun, and they have some recoil detachments. If we go to our tank regiment, it has the same number of units, but it has no infantry, as we can see, but it has tanks, some T-72s A and T-72B1s. And it also has some extra recon. So if we look to the stats of these For example, take this T-72. So this is the points that it will cost to deploy one unit on the battlefield, and they can be deployed in squads up to 4. And these are the weapons that it has. So it has a main gun and a medium machine gun. Each tank has 28 rounds. It has a range of 200 meters. Accuracy of 50%. But this changes, of course, if you move or stationary or whatever. So the stabilizer, that's basically the accuracy when you're moving. The AP power, and this is necessary if you want to damage tanks. The HE power is against infantry. Suppression, of course, the higher the suppression, even if you don't score a direct hit, you can still suppress the enemy. And the rate of fire. Then for tanks, they also have a front, side, back, and top armor, because it can be dependent on where you hit. And as you can see, if we look at the T-72A, it has a slightly different gun and cost compared to the B, because this gun is the upgraded 2A46M, slightly higher range, better stabilizer, higher AP power, also a higher rate of fire, and the tank itself has also a little bit more armor. And then we also have some more stats like, okay, what's the max speed on the road, how stealthy is it, and etc. The type means if you want to create a deck, what type of units you can bring. But yeah, so every region also has like a name, so Osaka, and it has a point cost. At the beginning of your turn, any uncontested area gives you this number of points, and these points can be used to deploy additional battle groups. So for example, I can deploy now what I'm going to do, the Task Force Kuznetsov. Major, I can confirm that the Kuznetsov has arrived at the scene. It has marine or helicopter-borne troops and offensive aircraft ready to attack the enemy system from behind. You should use helicopter-borne troops for inland assault. The Marines could land in Koku with air and ground support. Beware, however, the enemy has a strong presence in this area. So non-Koku, it can be assaulted from the sea if you have Marines, but as the colonel already said, it's quite a strong force here. So you have a 13th artillery battalion. So as you can see, a battalion smaller already. They have some infantry, which I think is the Japanese line infantry, and some cheap transports. But they also have some rocket artillery. And they have a airborne battalion, which is basically with paratroopers. And these are elite troops, so they're relatively expensive, 25 for one unit. And they're also very good. And they have 4 AH-1S. They have tow missiles, so they're very strong at countering. Then they have another 2nd helicopter battalion, which has some tow missiles and some recon helicopters. They have an anti-aircraft convoy, so Hawk missiles. These are also radar guided. They have some shorter range, the 10 SAM. They have some M42 anti-aircraft guns, and they have a radar guided gun tank. So the difference between radar guided and non-radar guided is, as you can see, the accuracy. I think also the Hawk is radar guided, yeah. And also, of course, if you have a plane that uses anti-radar missiles, it will automatically lock on to any active radar sites. So if an enemy has a radar unit and you use an airplane with anti-radar missiles, it will attack it automatically. Okay, so we know what is here. The Kuznetsov itself also has a fleet, but you can deploy the aircraft carrier, but you can deploy its escort. So it has 4 Udelois 2s, 4 Nanushkas, 8 Tarantals, some logistic ships, and some anti-ship helicopters using the KH-31A. I'm not sure if that's a cruise missile or not, the KH missile range, but whatever. So on this side we have the Task Force Minsk. That's also an aircraft carrier. It has a different fleet composition. This one has Sovereign Minis, also some Nanushkas, anti-helicopters. And it is already deployed with a naval fighter squadron, the Yak 141s. And they are anti-air, as you can see by this symbol. It's an air superiority fighter. So they have missiles that go up to 70 meters for airplanes, and also for shorter range they have some how do you call them? The anti-helicopter missiles. And they are fire and forget. That's also very nice to see. That means that they can fire the missiles and then immediately evacuate. They don't need to stay on target lock. There are some missiles that need to do. I'm not sure this, for example. No. Let's go to the infantry. Stationary. No. Yeah, there are some infantry maybe in the airport regiments. Yeah, so the Turk missiles, they have anti-tank guided missiles. These are guided, so that means that they need to have a target lock on the enemy and need to see it. Like if you lose sight, then the missile will not hit. So this is the Spetsnaz brigade and the 217th VDV regiment. But let's see what I can buy. So on the naval forces, we have the Minsk Air Group. We can buy Yak-30As, which are, as then described here, rustic bombers, because I think they're very old. Maybe I can have a look what the year says. Oh, 1985. But they're quite slow. But they drop 500 kilogram bombs at 1,000 pounders 4 times. So that's quite a lot of damage. But yeah, slow, poor stealth, poor fuel, so they might be able to be shut down quickly. Then we can also get some Yak-38s which have napalm bombs. But if we go to the Kuznetsov, the other one, they have MiG-29Ks and some Su-27Ks. I think they're both anti-ship, no? Yeah. So we have a fire and forget anti-ship. And the MiGs also have a anti-ship, but less range. So it might be possible that these MiGs get attacked already before they are... how do you call that? That they shoot and then they need to, like, they fly, they shoot the missile and then they evacuate. So in this arch, it might be that they still come within range of the enemy anti-air. So maybe this one is safer then. Also exceptional air detection, that's good. Also very good anti-air missiles. But I don't see any ships in this sector yet. I do think, because I mentioned that the Americans are on the way, so that's probably that they might also send some naval support. So maybe for later this might they might come in handy. But they also said that the Kuznetsov had some helicopter regiments. So we have the DSHV regiment as a helicopter-borne VDV battalion. It includes infantry and combat aircraft. Its Mi-4AVs are outdated, but when combined to Mi-24Ds, they form a rapid and formidable strike force. So let's see. So they have some Mi-6, which is a transport for logistics. And this is an even bigger logistics. FOB, so they have some Spetsnaz in the M24Ds. So the Spetsnaz are wearing the AFLs. And they have some napalm launchers. So they're not good against tank, but they're very good at close combat against infantry. They have some VDVs, which are the standard airborne units of the Russians. Oh, scheiße. And they have the RPG-16D, which is I think it's just a more modern version of the RPG-7. Has a slightly higher range and accuracy, so that's good. They're also coming in the Mi-24Ds, which comes with some Saklos missiles, which are also anti-tank guided missiles. At least I think they are anti-tank guided. And then they have some other support helicopters, which is basically the Mi-4 AV we just described as the outdated one. And as you can Jesus, I keep pressing it. As you can see in the year, it's from 1968. While I think these, the Mi-24Ds are already more modern. But they also have the 319th Helicopter Regiment. And these come equipped with Mi-24Vs, which are from, I think they're prototypes for this year, basically. M24P, M29TB, and the M24VP, which is basically, I think the V is the anti-helicopter because it has like the Igla missiles. And the P is the anti-tank. And they all come with, not all of the same. So the V has S5M rockets, which are 57mm rockets, which are spread. And the P and the VP come with the S80FP rocket pod. And a 30mm cannon instead of a 50 cal. But that can do a lot of damage. So you now need to decide what I'm going to do, because I also remember that I should have some... I have a naval regiment here. So what I can do is I can go here or here and then drop them here. I also have a naval regiment here, I see. So let's go deploy you here. Deploy you here. Can I? No, I cannot disembark you. That's a shame. So I would need to do this next turn. So what does the enemy have here? They have some tanks, not very strong ones. Very low armor on both. 2100-meter guns, 50% accuracy. And the infantry, standard light infantry, standard anti-tank. So these are not very strong. They're not going to be a big problem for me. So, actually, this is a 5-sector area. What I might do, I might get the helicopter regiment and go here. So now I captured this, and unless they're going to contest it, and they can only do this with another airplane, another fleet, or maybe even a airborne regiment, but I don't think they're going to do that. Unless they do that, they can't do anything here. So I'll get more points next turn. So I might... So they have some old 1955. I think these are the Sabres, the F-86 Sabre. So they have some 50 cal and some napalm bombs. They're very slow. They're very poor stealth, very poor turn radius, but they're protecting a infantry regiment with some line infantry, some artillery, some anti-tank, and they have a tank regiment here, which has a lot of cheap tanks. But if they can deploy up to 2,000 points in one battle, you can see that's almost like this entire brigade. And if I need to attack Goba, what I want to do, they have the armored training battalion, and they have like one of the best tanks in game. So that's something that I need to. So I think I'm going to wait so that I can support my. Because I have a lot of extra troops that I can bring. Yeah, I'm going to wait with attacking until I can also bring in more paratroopers. Or maybe I'll bring in, So as you can see, they're also moving around the units. We have naval supremacy in the Sea of Japan, but a South Korean squadron cast off this morning from Busan at Seems they want to play heroes. Make sure our troop transports are safe. So yeah, I have my troop transports here. If they get attacked, they need to defend with 1 Najin and 2 Nanushkas and some Shmels. If they die, then also the entire Marine battalion is gone. So, let's attack our first. We are inside of the first objective. The airfield is intact but well defended. We are awaiting your orders to attack. Roger that. So we send in the helicopter squadron because they have a very high initiative, so they can actually move multiple sectors. And in terms of Marines, we can bring in, I think I'm going to bring in the 331st VDV Regiment. They are transportable well-armed tanks and provide an excellent anti-tank strike force with your Concord and Faggot missiles. We recommend dropping paras in defensive zones where they can ambush enemy troops. As you can see, they start as a plane, and then they have a very high initiative, so you can just go like boop, and then say land, and they can land there. So the F1 is multi-strike fighter. I'm going to... they had a lot of these cheap tanks here, right? Yeah. How does the map look like? So if I now drop paratroopers, I might be able to also start in Charlie. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, but yeah, let's drop the 331st. So now we press land. Et voila. And if I now go to Obama, just to check. See, I also have Charlie. So I can... I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be... If I should also spend this. The tanks don't have any initiative left, so that means that they won't be participating in this fight, unfortunately. What else? Should I also attack Masuda? It's also 3 more points if I get it. Yeah, I just disembark. They have an infantry regiment here with some line infantry, some napalm shots into Rensau, and an anti-tank convoy, but I think this is more than enough. Show on the map. Maybe drop the Spetsnaz brigades in there as well. Yeah, then I also have Delta, so that I can quickly go in both directions. Let's see. Let's start with Obama. Let's go just go this direction. So here we see on both sides what battle groups are going to attend, and then we can have an overview of what they have. They only have a lot of cheap tanks. Well, actually not a lot, it's only 20. And some infantry. They have 4 of the F1 planes. I have 8 of my anti-aircraft planes, so that's good. I have some naval units I can bring in. I have some tanks, not a lot. And I started in naval zone, naval sector, hotel, and Charlie. So let's launch the battle. So before the battle, we can always we have some points, deployment points, and then we can deploy units depending on the cost. So we start with a lot of points. That's, I think, because of the VDV regiments. I'm going to place 1 BTR command vehicle here, because if you want to capture a zone, you need to have a command vehicle in it. So I'm going to place this one here because it's amphibious, and then I can go on land and go there. I will start with these 2 yaks, and then when the battle starts, I can immediately call them in and maintain air superiority. But I now need to prepare my forces to hold this down. It's 8 points, it's a lot. I really want to maintain it. So I'm going to place one in the dense forest, one command vehicle, a cheap one. And then I'm going to... so the enemy is going to... If they're going to send tanks, we need to make sure that we can ambush them. So if we look from this angle in this building, you have quite a big view there and there. So I'm going to place my concourse or fagot missiles. The concourse is 20 AP, 2600 meters, and this is 16 AP. Yeah, but they also probably more expensive. Yeah. Bring 3 here, and they might also come from this direction. So another one here. Take some VDVs. Place them here. Vehicles. Place them in there in the forest, so that they will be able to shoot everything that comes down here. Wait, what was the range of these vehicles? No, not, the enemy has longer range. Let's not do this. What is the difference? So the D55 AMV, and this is also AMV, but why are these more expensive? I don't know. So the Nanushka one, because it has a 67mm gun that can shoot, also has some anti-air missiles. I'm going to place 2 more VDV here, so that I can ambush the enemy if they come too close. And what I also need is some logistics, because these missiles will fire, and when they fire, they will place you here. When they fire, they will, yeah, you have like a limited supply of missiles and you need to recharge them. Then we launch the battle. We unload all. Unload. Unload. Go to bullet time. So that we can quickly reorganize this a little bit. Yeah, this is what I meant. There's a big blob of enemies coming. My missiles are already firing. Get another air in. And they're already losing some of their air wings. One got shot down. And another one got shot down. They hit my supplies, but that's okay. So far, so good. We have lost some of the infantry here. Oh, this is going a little bit worse than I anticipated. shit. Took down my command point. So the enemy is now sending troops from this direction, but I placed the VDVs here. So they should be able to take quick care of that. So yeah, the enemy is advancing forward, but they keep getting shot. I can't deploy them, so I'm going to... Oh. Okay. Quickly going to bullet time. And deploy some extra ships. So yeah, the BTRs are amphibious, so I can place them in the water. And here they're actually quite successful at shooting down the enemy so far. We're going to unload, unload. Then we're going to stand here. I want to get them out of the minimum range for their rocket artillery. Rocket artillery in that side. Is that only smoke? Ah, it's only smoke launchers. Oh, that's a shame. I don't know why, but my screen is sometimes going black. I need to, after this, quickly change the cables. Shame. Plane got away. But I captured the zone. That's the most important thing. So now... Get some tanks here. Get some recon there. Enemy. Oh. So they're sending in a command vehicle to try to capture the zone, but they probably have not seen or don't know that there is a enemy unit, for them enemy unit here. So it's almost in range, and then you have a unit of anti-tank, the Hans in here, yeah. Looks like I'm winning here. Yeah, the enemy doesn't have a single chance here. And now I need some supplies here, because I want to... get my town, my troops back. Get more tanks in there. Get some VDVs up here. Then we're going to push into this area and capture it. Because we have 10 minutes left, and then the battle ends with a... Nice. Support, put a... What is the range of a Strela? Oh, not so much. Never mind. Let's assume that they have their position there. And let's shell them. Go to very fast. Shoot under tanks. They also have some anti-tank missiles on them. Recon vehicle. Go deploy there, and then when the enemy is close, we can just push in. Command vehicle is there. Taking out the command vehicle. Taking out that tank. Yeah, let's assume that it is safe. Oh. What is moving here? It's moved very quickly. It's a truck. It's a recon truck. So this might be full of infantry, I don't know, so that's why I'm going to send in my own infantry. And shell them into oblivion. I'm going to smoke this position. And that way, hopefully, I can clear this area before the enemy can intervene from this area. So I can also deploy extra troops from this side. Back into this position. Oh, they're coming from that side. Didn't know that. Yeah, they don't have a chance. That's good. So now I have a few more points to capture. Get another Nanushka here. Ooh. Hello. Don't know if they can strafe it with their machine guns. They can. I did it. Nice. Yeah, let's move up in here. So what you can do, of course, is also like, if airborne regiments, it's always a very good strategy to deploy some helicopters with some special forces, and then go here and then like march in from this direction. I also see this is the last point. I didn't know that. You could be 1, 2, 3, 1 here, 2 here, and well, no, 2 more here. 3 will be the rapid response in terms of when if they deploy an enemy plane. I think they still have 1 left. We still have some fuel. Let's see, move in 2 trucks here. Because infantry can, well, not only infantry, but like everything can repair with the supply trucks. So infantry will get like new men there. He will be number 4, and we will. Or number 5, then we will go here. and they are giving up. So what we see is that the Central Tank Regiment and the Infantry Regiment are destroyed. They only had one command point left, command vehicle left at the site. Now you get an overview of all the combat kills. So for example, my Nanjin, which is apparently a North Korean ship, has killed 3 of these units. No, this is the name of the unit. This is the units that it killed. So it killed, I think these are the tanks. 2 tanks, 2 infantry. And here you also get an overview of the total forces that they had, and then what is left. And then here they have like what is lost. But I'll be right back because my screen goes black sometimes, so